everyone, Paul here. Today I'm going to be talking about another paid indicator. Now, I wasn't actually going to be going over kind of another strategy again, but I found this a couple days ago, and what I like doing is trying to find a lot of indicators that are not talked about. You know, I did that with Ghost Market Pro, and you know, to this day, even though I've made videos on it, and there's really not a lot of videos on it, but the indicators that they have with Ghost Market Pro are pretty amazing. There's a lot of indicators out there that aren't well known that, you know, if I stumble on it, I'll make a video just to get them some more recognition. So what I'm going to do is, I was on TikTok, and I found another indicator under like an indicator that nobody talks about. It's pretty simple to understand once you have it. This one in particular, no one knows about other than the guy that's making the video, similar to, Ghost Market Pro. But this is a pretty simple indicator to understand. In order to get this indicator, you have to get it on Patreon, and you purchase it either monthly or annually. Now, as long as you keep paying, though, you'll have the access to the indicator. It's a invite script only, so you have to, if you want to purchase it, you have to give the creator, on Patreon, you'll have to tell them your TradingView ID, and once he does, and he gives you setup videos, and it's pretty simple. It's one little indicator, but it's pretty powerful. It will highlight all the good moments from what I could tell, and what I'm going to be going over the next 3 days is how to use this indicator, this pretty simple indicator, to find key moments with crypto, stocks, and Forex. And there's kind of a little bonus, because I wasn't going to be making any more videos like this. But I thought they'd get more well known, because I've only traded with this for I think 1 day. I just briefly went over it on Friday, so I really haven't gone over all the assets with it. But from what I can tell, it works the best on longer time frames, especially the weekly, the daily. So if you want to get short-term gains, it will work. But on the shorter time frames, like the hour, you really have to identify the trend. It works with the trend. It does not work well if you're going against the trend, but it works pretty good with the trend. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to set it up. Once you get it, you have to go to Patreon and get it. So today I'm going to be going over how to use this paid indicator for crypto, and I'll be going over the other ones in the next couple videos. But let me show you how to set it up and what I look for, and how to make the most out of your trading with crypto here. Okay, so let me show you, once you get it, let me show you what it looks like when you get it. You have all these here. It's called TradeSnyper. And it's a little confusing when you first get it, because they mix it with the MACD, and you really don't need it. So this is what it's going to look like when you first get it. So I just remove the MACD and the signal. All you need is the histogram here. All you need is, and this is the histogram. So I may do a little bit more tweaking on this if I'll make another video, but this is basically off of a line. I want to see what it looks like with histogram or some of these others. Let's just look at that real quick. I haven't even done this. So yeah, histogram, whichever way, but I think line works the best. And you really, with histogram, it's just basically when it's down, it goes down. When it's up, it goes up. Personally, I'm just going to teach it right now how the default setting is, and that's the line. And what you basically do is you want to pay attention. The key strategy here is there's there's 3 different types of colors that you need to pay attention to with TradeSnyper. And basically, when it turns blue, that means it's cooling down. That basically means the market's cooling down, and it's either going to go in. It's eventually going to go turn red or turn green, and you need to focus on your trades after the cooling down zone. So whatever direction, if it goes red, it's going to go down. If it goes green, it's going to start going up. So if you see what happened here with Bitcoin, now what I do is I load up the 1348. I use the 1348 to get the overall trend. Like I was saying, this works well going with the trend. Do not try doing this with crypto against the trend. So you can either use 1348 to kind of get a general idea of what direction everything's going. We see 1348 crosses here, and then it crossed down. So technically, it's down right now because it crossed right here. It's going down, the overall trend. Or you can just you can go to your 6 hour, and you can get the overall trend by looking at the 6 hour. Now, with the 6 hour, you need to see solid candles. So you need 2 candles going in the right direction. Right now, we see a red candle and well, that's green, but a red candle and a green candle, and you need like at least 12 hours of direction here. And this you need at least 12 hours of direction here, and this is kind of. It can't make up its mind. So overall, looks like it's going up, but that's all. Just look, if you're doing this on a shorter time frame, you just need to load up your 1348. Right now it bounced down, but it looks like it's going to be going back up. Basically, what this does is I've noticed it works the best with longer time frames. So what I'm going to actually show you is a pretty cool indication here. Now, if you do this on a weekly here, you pretty much have a good idea where it's going. What you want to do is you want to look for the blue on the weekly, and I'll be going over this in other assets too. What I do with this strategy is I look for the weekly. You know, when you do it on the weekly, it's going to take a while, but I focus on the higher time frames. So I want to kind of go over what has happened here with trading Bitcoin here. We see that it turned blue right here, and then it turned red. So the overall trend here is still up because I have the 1348 loaded. I do not enter any trades when it's blue. Blue is it cooling down. Blue is usually when it's going sideways. Blue is it cooling down? The market is cooling down. So what I look for is what happens after blue. So knowing the overall trend here, we know that it's going up. You always want to know what the overall trend is doing. And I look at that by looking at the 1348. So if we look at the blue right here, if we look at blue, we know that's cooling down and it goes red. So a normal person, if you were doing this trade and you saw that it was going red, you might want to enter. And you could enter on these small little candles. These are weekly here. So right here, if you entered here, this is only for 2 weeks. But you could have entered, but this would be going against the trend. If you look at this and you look at the cross, you know that it's been going up. So you have to focus when it's going green because the overall trend's going up. If you go against the trend, you're going to get wrecked. So, you only profit for 2 weeks, and you may have got some profit here if you rode these 2 out right here. So this was a little bit of profit for 2 weeks, but it was going against the trend. You might have made some profit, but this is going against the trend, and you did it on a weekly. What I would look for is when it went green, when it went bright green. And you look at this on the weekly because the trend is going up. 1348 crosses here. The trend is up. So you want to wait for it to turn bright green. And this is when you would enter the trade, at least in my opinion. So if you rode this out, it was for 21 days. Now, if you were trading leverage, it all depends on what you're using for trading. I use a Forex broker, and I trade and I make more Bitcoin by doing it that way. But you can also leverage trade, so this would have brought you some profit. But what I kind of want to do is show you guys the potential of what this is, and I want to show you what happened in the last bull run. And it picked it up during the last bull run. So if you looked at this on a weekly, you knew when the bull run started, and you knew when when everybody was starting to sell, if you looked at this on a weekly. So we just got to find the last bull run here, which was, this was it right here. It went up to 69, somewhere around there. So if you look at the indicator, you'll notice that it had a cooling down period. Well, it started right here. This was, which was the bull run? I think this was 21. Yeah, this was the same time. So the bull run really started right here. And you can notice that it turned blue right here. So wouldn't enter any trade here. Then it went from blue to bright red. This is when everybody started selling. That must have been around, yeah, that was around April. That was when the halving, I don't know if that's the halving or not, but it went red because the halving event happened, and it went down. It went down for a little bit of time, and in that time you could have made some profit while it was going down. This was 77 days of it going down, and it picked it up right here. If you see the cooling down zone, and then it went red, and then you could have easily known when it was going to go down. So this, I think this was around the halving, and you were able to pick up right when that was happening by looking at this on the weekly. So when it started going back up from after the halving event, you notice that it started getting blue right here. It didn't happen right here, but it did print some green. So right about here, you could have come in right when it turned bright green, and you could have got in for, you could have rode this out. This is a 25% increase. And then it cooled down a bit, and you don't enter when it cools down. You enter when it turns bright green or bright red, and you see it happening right here. And this was technically the bull run here. And if you rode this out here to here, you would have made 42% increase. And then the thing that's cool about this is it cooled down a bit. After it went up, it cooled down, and then it went red, and this is when everybody started selling, which was right about here. So you would have got in, you would have known when everybody was starting to sell after the bull run, and you would have rode this out till here. So you would have made money going up, and you would have made money going down if you knew how to trade. This is why this is very key, and why I like this, and I'm holding on to this indicator for this purpose, for the halving, because I will know exactly when it's going to be going up and when it's going to start going down. Right now, what we can see from the current chart on the weekly, we can see that Bitcoin is cooling down, and it's probably going to be printing out. It's probably going to be printing out a red line. It's going to start going red. It's going to start going down. It's going to start preparing itself for the halving event in a couple of months. So if you have this indicator, you will know exactly, like you do. You don't do trades when it's blue, for long-term trades. You do trades after blue, and it enters. This is on the weekly. So if it prints a red line here, that means the market's going to start going down, similar to what happened during the halving event, which was right here. It easily was able to pick it up. So I'm holding on to this indicator specifically for the halving, because this is really a color-coded indicator of when the bull market is happening and when, when to get out, how long it's going to go on, and when everybody starts selling. It's a very powerful one, in my opinion. So you can do that on a weekly. I personally do this on a longer time frame. But if you want to do scalps, for me personally, it doesn't really work that well on like shorter time frames. I definitely don't do this on 15-minute or things like that. I focus on higher time frames. If I were to do this on a next level time frame, I would do maybe 4 hour or 6 hour. And we can see, if we zoom in a little bit more right now on a 6 hour, we could see that there was a cooling down period right here. It went red. So if you caught this, if you caught that red part right here, this is about maybe 12 hours of gains right here. But this would be going against the trend. I like doing it with the trend. So anyway, if you did it on a 6 hour, you saw that crossed here with the 1348. So I would focus on longer time frames on the 6 hour for it to print out a green, which it appears that it's doing that right now. You see that happening right now. But I would wait for it to go blue and then go green or go red. But right now the trend is up. But anyway, this is what I do. This indicator here looks pretty simple, but it's pretty powerful depending on how you're using it. So when I saw this indicator, immediately what I did is I went to the longer time frames to see how well it worked. And it points out all the key moments of when everything's going up and when everything's going down on a weekly. So the disadvantage of the strategy when you're doing it on a weekly is you got to wait. But you got to wait. You don't do any trades when it's blue because it's cooling off. And, when it's entering into a bright red, bright green, that's your indication that it's going to start doing that direction. And so anyway, I find this powerful, especially with what's coming next with Bitcoin. This is what I'm doing to find the signal to trade. And, you could use this for short term, but from my experience, and I didn't really show you the shorter time frames because for me, it doesn't really work well with smaller time frames. It works better for longer time frames. And anyway, this indicator is very helpful for me at least. I'm glad I stumbled on it. I'm definitely going to be using this for my trading at least for the next couple of months until the halving and all that. But anyway, I'm going to be going over this indicator for the other assets as well. But I found that this is really helpful, especially with Bitcoin and the halving coming up. It gives really good signals. So anyway, if you guys want this indicator, it's either a monthly or an annually. It's a invite only script, so you have to give the creator your TradeView ID, and you'll get it hooked up there. It's a little bit confusing when you pay, but just give him. You have to message him and give him your ID to TradingView, and he'll unlock it for you on TradingView. But anyway, I found this very helpful. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. See you guys in future videos.